Hey, I hope you had a chance to watch the video that showed me making this large bonsai pot. This is the air-dried clay from the build that I did in that video, but take a look at this. This cracked as it was drying, and that crack right there could be caused by a couple different things, and I want to take a look at that with you as a follow-up here and think about what it takes to be able to build a large pot like this and avoid having it crack like that. Now I do have a template that I use to make the pot, so I could pretty easily build it again, and I did. And this is one of the big benefits of having a template. So I was able to use the same template, build the same pot, and actually I made a slight adjustment. I inset the foot a little bit, and I think I like the way that looks a little bit better. And this pot has been fired, and it's all ready to roll. But let's take a look at a couple of clips from when I built this and see if we can't determine what it was that caused that crack to happen.
The first potential problem is that before I put the base onto the pot, I had already cut the drainage holes. You can see here as I'm preparing the base, I've cut those holes while the base was flat against the board, which is appropriate, but then I had to pick it up and move it, and so each of those holes is going to create a weakness potentially, and that could have had a significant impact on what happened. You probably noticed that the crack went through one of those holes. Next, I want to talk about what happens right here. Do you see how much that slab is bending as I lift it? This wouldn't be nearly as much of a problem if the slab wasn't so big. A smaller pot, you wouldn't have to have this concern. My options here were a couple of things. Either I should have let that slab dry longer, which could have had some ramifications in itself, or I should have assembled the pot while leaving the slab flat on the board, which in fact is what I did the second time. The same issues start happening here when I put the base onto the pot. It sags in, and so we continue to have more bending and warping of the clay, and every time that happens it has the potential for creating weaknesses in that slab. Then as I turned the pot over and got it set the right direction, I had an opportunity to get that base flat so that it could start drying and setting up in the position that it should be. But to get it there, after I got the board removed, I had to press that warped slab down against the board. So that slab kept getting bent this way and that way, creating more and more weaknesses, which probably led to the problem that led to that crack as it dried. The final consideration I want to share with you is the drying itself. When I dried the pot the first time, I left it right side up for the vast majority of the time. And although I do not promise to understand exactly why this happens, clay pots dry, and any clay object that you create dries from the top down, sort of. And so as it was standing in a right side up position, the rim and the walls of the pot dried faster than the base, and I think that may have caused a problem as well. This rebuild that came out correctly, I did the majority of the drying upside down, which allowed the base to dry a little bit more consistently with the wall. So there's a tip that perhaps you can take forward into your next big build, or any build for that matter, when you want to make sure your pot dries consistently. Well, I hope this has been informative to some degree, and I look forward to sharing more thoughts with you on building bonsai pots. Until next time.